Former President Barack Obama was in Arizona on Wednesday to campaign for Katie Hobbs and Senator Mark Kelly. Mark Kelly is in a tough race with Blake Masters to keep his seat in the Senate. According to polls from 538, Kelly holds a slight lead in a race that could determine control of the Senate. In the gubernatorial race, Attorney General Katie Hobbs is facing off against Kari Lake. According to polls from 538, Kari Lake holds a slight lead. Former President Barack Obama has ramped up his participation in rallies recently, with polls showing a potential bad evening for Democrats in the midterm elections. Obama spoke about being interviewed by Kari Lake in 2016, back when she was a broadcaster. The former president also took a shot at Lake and former President Trump, saying, quote, "If we hadn't just elected someone whose main qualification was being on TV, you could see maybe giving it a shot." Obama then turned his eyes on Blake Masters. The former president said, quote, "If you were trying to create in a lab a wacky Republican politician, it would look a lot like this guy."
Now, here in Arizona, there's no question that Katie Hobbs' opponent, she's good in front of the camera because she's been doing it for a long time, right? So, some people don't know this, but apparently Kari Lake actually interviewed me back in 2016 when I was president. She was a local news anchor. She was doing her job. I have to admit, I don't have a clear memory of the interview. It's a little fuzzy, but I do know this: at the time, I don't remember thinking that she was the kind of person who would push debunked COVID remedies or promise to issue a declaration of invasion at our border or claim without any evidence that the 2020 election was stolen. I guess that stuff came later because she found it convenient, because she thought, well, here's an opportunity to get attention. Listen, if we hadn't just elected somebody whose main qualification was being on TV, you could see maybe giving it a shot. What's the worst that could happen? Well, now we know. It doesn't just work out just because somebody's been on TV. Turns out being president or governor is about more than snappy lines and good lighting. It's about more than having a good anchor voice. It's about understanding what people are going through. It's about coming up with real solutions for how to make your life better. This isn't a reality show. If Kari Lake is your governor, we know what she'll be focused on because Donald Trump told us. He said if somebody asks Kari, "How's your family?" she says the election was rigged and stolen. It's her answer for everything. You know, along with tax cuts, that's her answer. Now, that's great if you're running to be Donald Trump's best friend. Except, you know what? Arizona needs a governor who actually cares about you. Someone who will work and fight for you every day. Somebody like Katie Hobbs. Katie grew up in Arizona. Katie's parents sometimes had to rely on help from their church community and food stamps to make ends meet. She knows what it's like to struggle, which is why her first job out of college was as a social worker, helping young people here in Phoenix deal with homelessness. You can see what her values are by her track record. Helped to run one of the largest domestic violence shelters in the country. That's what she cares about. You. She'll work for you as your Secretary of State. As your Secretary of State, while her opponent tries to undermine the integrity of our elections, Katie's been protecting them, even when it meant getting death threats for doing her job. So you know she stands up for what's right. As governor, Katie's opponent is going to be focused on making Donald Trump happy. Katie, she may not be flashy. She could have been. She just chooses not to be because she's serious about her work. if you elect her governor, she's going to get up every day and work her tail off trying to create jobs, trying to lower costs, trying to make our schools better, trying to help Arizona families get ahead. That's the choice in this election.